Hello. In a prior video, I introduced the topic of creating a static website. So I can use an S3 bucket and CloudFront distribution to host a website in Amazon S3, but CloudFront distribution and access identity, policy, certificate, DNS record to do that. Rather than starting that from scratch, we could borrow an example. And in a prior video, I showed you how to borrow an example from the CDK examples. So now I'd like to actually go and deploy the website. The steps here I have in the repo. So if you've cloned the repo to create a site, you can then come down into the static site subdirectory here and then go and do an npm install. And then another step after the npm install finishes, we would do a npm run build here. And then when that's complete, we'd go ahead and do the CDK deploy. But this CDK deploy is a little bit more involved in some of the simpler ones. This wants some context. Instead of double hyphen context spelled out, I just used -c. And then it wants an account ID. It wants a domain name, and I'm using the variable zone here to pass in for that. And then a subdomain here. I just use literally www for that. So we need to define the account ID variable and the zone variable. Let me show you those steps. So I'm going to grab this line account ID there. Just grab it from the security token service, just do a get caller identity, kind of like who am I, but for AWS. And then have that account ID defined. Now I can check if I have any Route 53 hosted zones. Now, a prerequisite for following through and actually doing this deployment is that you need to have at least one hosted zone in your AWS account that you're working in. So that's a prerequisite. But I'm just going to go ahead and list out the current zones that I have in this particular account. And I should just have one, which is convenient for doing the demonstration. But if you have many, that's great. Here, I am going to go and grab that name of the first one of those, which, because I have only one, that's an easy choice. So the square bracket 0 up there, just grab the first of those. And then here, I just have a little expression to rip off the trailing dot there. So awsdemos.net is the example that I'm going to use here. Let me grab that line and do that. And just to make sure that that little regular expression magic on the end there did the right thing, there's just aws-demos.net. So use whatever domain name you have registered, not this one, because that's mine, right? So what is for now? So here I'm going to then pass those values into this npx CDK deploy. So this is the fun step, how to actually deploy this. You want to do an npx CDK synth and synthesize a CloudFormation template first, look it through and validate it. That's fabulous. But you can just go ahead and then run this. So let me just kick that off here. So here I am prompted in this case for some security changes to identity and access management and some other security related components. So I'm going to answer yes there. You can automate that so that those get approved. Here it's going and creating a change set now. It's building the CloudFormation stack here with some roles and a bucket. Let me disappear here. There we go. It creates a policy. Then it creates a Lambda function, another policy, a bucket policy, a few different resources here. This is now creating the CloudFront distribution. This is now deploying a record set to Route 53, so a nice convenient name, the one that is composed out of the www and then the zone name there. In my case, that was the aws-demos.net. And now the stack is done. So the outputs of this particular stack as the static site name and bucket and the certificate, the CloudFront distribution, and then we could go ahead and use that. So I'm just going to go to this URL here. I'm just going to copy and paste the good old-fashioned way here. And well, actually, let's try it with a curl here. So let's just curl from that distinguished site. It says hello world. I know, highly complicated, but it's an example of creating a site, right? Let's try in a little browser here. Yes, it says hello world. I know, tiny font. Sorry, I could zoom in, show you, but it says hello world up there. So same is back here. So effectively, this stack has created a number of resources that work together, and the effect is we have a static website. So again, first I had in a separate video copying a sample that really does the work, and then I just ran it in this video. In another video, I'll go and explain the process. So effectively, we have a way of hosting a website, static content. There's ways to make dynamic content feed into an otherwise static website. That's a whole separate topic. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, send comments, ask for other things that you'd like to see demonstrations of. Thank you.